What makes a superhero a superhero? It's a difficult term to define as, while the majority of comic book heroes sport at least one superhuman ability of some kind. Many wear a cape or a cowl to fight crime without the aid of any sort of superpower. But then, what constitutes a superpower? Superpower is a word that means any enhanced ability, be it derived from accident, experimentation, or mutation. We would also count cybernetic enhancements and super serums as superpowers. The same goes for a powerful item that bestows powers on the user, like Green Lantern's power ring or Thor's hammer. So, who are these mighty men and women who only use their wits, peak fitness, or technological powers to suit up and save the day? Obviously, the characters that jump to mind in the category are widely beloved and popular ones like Batman, Iron Man, Green Arrow, and even Hawkeye. But, since we already know about their existence, we decided to make this list about other, relatively less known, yet still cool, interesting superheroes. Let's start our list with the character named Spirit. You might have had the misfortune of seeing The Spirit, the Execrable, 2018 movie from Frank Miller and starring Scarlett Johansson and Samuel L. Jackson. If you have, and you have our sympathies, you're probably wondering why the Spirit is on the list, seeing as he possesses the pretty handy superpower of immortality. Well, actually, the facet of his character was made up for the film. Throughout his long comic strip history dating back to 1940, the Spirit, also known as Denny Colt, has actually been portrayed as a non-powered vigilante. In fact, with his past as a detective in his snappy blue suit and fedora, he's more of a super sleuth than an actual superhero. His traditional origin doesn't involve him coming back from the dead, but only due to him being mistakenly diagnosed. Even older than the Spirit is the Phantom, one of the original comic book superheroes. Created in 1936 by Lee Falk, he predates Superhuman by 2 years. In fact, it's generally thought that he's the second mainstream superhero to have been created after Mandrake the Magician. The Phantom is also the first legacy superhero. The identity is one passed down through the generations of the Walker family, who was sworn to protect innocence from evil. The original Phantom fought pirates from their base in the fictional African country of Bengala. Also, he has a wolf called Devil, just to prove how badass he is. Unfortunately, his bright purple skinned tight suit is a bit goofy in our modern eyes. Speaking of wartime pulpy superheroes, those characters were at the forefront of Dave Stevens' mind when he created the Rocketeer in 1982. Much like Indiana Jones, the Rocketeer is someone who captured the old-fashioned heroics of classic pulp fiction. In essence, a sort of World War II era Iron Man, Cliff Seckard uses an experimental jetpack to protect Los Angeles from hoodlums, mad scientists, and Nazis as the Rocketeer. While the stories are enjoyable pulpy yarns, a lot of the Rocketeer's appeals come from his terrific design, in particular his Art Deco-inspired helmet. When thinking of ordinary folks who took it upon themselves to be superheroes, the characters of Kick-Ass spring to mind pretty quickly. Most known for the 2010's outrageously R-rated movie by Matthew Vaughn. Kick-Ass was first a comic series from Mark Miller for Marvel's iconic imprint. It follows the titular Kick-Ass, also known as high school geek Dave Liszewski, whose love of comic books inspired him to suit up and fight crime. Everyone's favorite character, though, is Hit Girl, a highly efficient vigilante who just happens to be a young preteen girl. Most of the heroes so far take the Batman method to non-powered superheroism. However, there's also the Iron Man way, which is using your engineering power or access to advanced technology to fight crime. That's how Booster Gold and Blue Beetle do it anyways. First up, Booster Gold, also known as Michael John Carter, is initially a glory hound from the future who steals a load of tech with his robot sidekick Skeets. He travels back to the past to achieve fame and fortune by becoming a superhero. Over time, however, his greediness abates and he discovers the true hero underneath. His frequent partner in crime fighting is Blue Beetle, aka Ted Kord. Unfortunately for Kord, the mystical scarab that was the source of the first Blue Beetle Dan Garrett's power didn't work for him, so he created a high-tech suit and weaponry to do the job instead. When deconstructing the superhero genre in 1986's Watchmen, often called the greatest graphic novel ever written, Alan Moore created some of the most interesting non-powered superheroes in the process. Even if they were heavily based on similar characters from Charlton Comics, for example The Question, who nearly made it on the list himself. Obviously, one of the central characters, nuclear-powered Dr. Manhattan, does have superpowers. That's putting it very lightly for someone who's basically a god. Apart from him though, the rest of the crime busters are just regular Joes in costumes, just trying to make a difference. That being said, there is the violent vigilante Rorschach, legacy hero Silk Spectre 2, the gadget-laden Batman-type Night Owl, and the not-so-dearly departed gun for hire, the Comedian. What do you think of our list? Did we miss anyone? Comment down below and let us know. If you like our video, leave a like, consider subscribing, and turn on the notification bell so that you'll never miss a future video.